welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi, I'm Alicia. I own a crochet boutique called Awestruck Crochet, and this week we are going to be organizing my little yarn room. I don't actually have a yarn room. I have a yarn space that is in my laundry room, so we're going to be organizing that. It's quite messy, and there are some things that I just want to change around and reorganize so it's clean and easy. So I thought I would take you along with me as I organize my yarn room. I'm also in a summer reset challenge group. And so this week we've been focusing on organization. And so I thought this would be the perfect vlog to share with you guys. I asked you guys over in my Instagram stories what questions you had for me, whether they were personal or business related, so that I can answer them for you while I'm organizing my room. So let's go ahead and jump right into it and get started. I have already organized my chenille yarn. I wound them all up and I switched them into a different spot than they were originally. They were all originally in my shelving with all my other yarn, and honestly I don't use the chenille yarn that often, so I decided to put it in my little yarn shelf that's in the living room. So I designated that one shelf for chenille yarn. Okay, I got all of this wound with my yarn winder here. Recently just went and pulled another basket of things. This has a mix of Bernat blanket yarn that I was using and Bernat velvet, but still all things. Mostly chenille is in here that I forgot I had, like the gray and black. So I pulled these so we can wind them up too. And so that's where it's going to stay. We're going to be taking down each yarn color shelf, winding it up, organizing it, pulling out colors that I don't use or would like to purge or whatever, and just making more space for other yarn because I have yarn in various places here within the house. I have yarn in the yarn shelf, back here, and in my closet, and I would like it to all be in at least the two designated spots back here in my laundry room or in the yarn shelf. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Okay, I've shared this little area with you guys before. It's literally just this corner that we have here. We have this little shelf here that needs like serious organization. And then we have this shelf and this shelf along with all of this other yarn up here and these shelves. And then we have all the way down here. So this is leftover chenille yarn that was in full skeins besides this big caked one. I don't have enough room for it right now, so it's going to go originally up here with extra yarn, but we will need to clear this off so that it's just one flat surface for extra yarn to be stacked there. So I'm going to put this up there for now, just so that I can have the basket that's clear. Okay, we got the yarn up there. We are going to be clearing out each of these 4 shelves. I'm just planning on doing these 4 today and tackling the rest of this probably tomorrow. But I'm going to see how much I can get done within the next 2 hours for these 4. So I'm going to be using this big basket here. This is the Joanne basket. I'm going to put the skeins that need to be wound in here, and then we will start winding them up. Okay, I sorted the green yarn. So this is all yarn that needs to be wound. Loose skeins that doesn't fit tight up against the label or just kind of like messy. Some of these, like this, is a whole ball by itself. And then other yarn that just needs to be wound. And then I left these because I've already recently wound them. I'm going to leave this one here just because it's okay. I don't know, maybe I should actually wind it up. Okay, we'll put it in the basket. But this one is a new skein, never touched. And then these were already recently wound. This one doesn't need to be wound. It's a new skein as well. And then I kept these out because I'm going to put them, I'm going to stack them up here once I move that. And it's going to hold all of my chunky wool-like yarn for pumpkins and Christmas trees. So since I only use it seasonally, I'm going to get it out of the entire stack of what I would normally use. I thought this was a noodle on my shelf. It's a piece of yarn. It was like sitting right here. I said, why is there a noodle on my shelf? It's not. It's just a little scrap of yarn. Anyway, okay. I'm going to put this back on the shelf and we're going to wind this up and then do the next color. Okay, green is all done. Let's put it back on the shelf. I'm going to put the bigger skeins like this in the back. This is the same color as this one, so I'm going to also put it in the back just so that I use this first before I use that. And then this is another bright green. And then we have the like lighter green, dark green, and then this is like a bright emerald green. It looks more like a blue green on camera, but it's not. It's a decent, like, nice green. Okay, actually, this color is not the same as that, even though they look like. I forgot this is Marion Baby Blanket in the color Lemon Lime. And this one matches the inside of that one. It's that citron color from the Marion Blanket Dappled. So, or actually, it's perfect phasing. Anyway, so that's a little different. I think I'll stack these two together though. And then I have this one still. I think I'll put it here. And then we just have this little one. I'll put it here. So, okay, now I can kind of see like what colors I have. There's still room for more green if I end up finding green somewhere. But I think I like that. So now let's tackle the blue because it is overflowing. So I think I'm going to sell my Feels Like Bliss yarn. There was such a big hype for this like last year, and it is so soft. I did like working with it, but I think I'm going to sell it because I only used it one time to crochet the little zebra, this little guy, and he is really so cute, but he's so tiny, which is really sweet, but about the same amount of time to crochet as a larger version. I think this would be super cute for like a itty bitty newborn baby. I'm on the fence. I kept this one because I think it's so sweet. It was my first little make using Feels Like Bliss. I love how tiny she is. I was pattern testing Zara the zebra for BK Crochet when I made her, but I just don't grab for this yarn, so I think I'm going to possibly sell it, just because I just don't see myself using it in the future. And I think this will just be one that I always keep and treasure in my makes, because I have like a handful of items that I've kept for myself, either for a pattern test or just because I really loved it. There's not very many, honestly. I don't keep a lot of things for me. But I think this will be one that I keep. So I think I will try to sell my Feels Like Bliss yarn. Grabbing from the blue pile, I also have this velvet color. I was going to initially crochet Bulbasaur from the Pokemon collection. There was like a strawberry Bulbasaur and I thought it was so cute. But this was like 2 summers ago, guys, and I still haven't touched it. So I'm going to list it for sale in my Instagram group or my Instagram stories and see if any other makers would like to grab this for their stash. It is the Beached Aqua, and it's the Bernat Baby Velvet. So we'll see how this goes. I just don't see myself using this like ever, honestly. And the Bulbasaur was so cute, but it doesn't fit my aesthetic or what I'm going for. So this needs to leave my yarn stash. Okay, and then we have this blue. It needs to be wound. Oh my gosh. And this, I have so much of this. I recently put in my stories, like, guys, look. Here's another one. And there are 2 more wound up in the yarn room because, or in the yarn cabinet, because I just recently wound them with all of the chenille yarn. I have 2 more of these. And I think I sold 2 of these as well. Like last summer, I sold 2 of them on my Instagram stories. Anyway, I asked in my Instagram stories, what do you guys usually do with this yarn? And a lot of people said whales. They said to do a dinosaur, the Mama Made Minis dinosaur. And I think it's funny because that's why I initially bought this yarn. And that's why I bought so much, because I was crocheting at the time Boasaurus. But now Boasaurus is so large. Guys, I was charging at the very beginning, I was charging Boasaurus for like $45. Okay. That is way underpriced, and I know that now because now I would charge Boasaurus for at least $85 because he's so big. He takes so much yarn, so much stuffing, so much time, and he's huge. If you've never made Boasaurus, he's massive. I will show the original Boasaurus that I made with this yarn with my middle child. In the picture, I think he's 2 and he's just turned 4. So it's been 2 years. And then I made another Boasaurus for my now 6-year-old, 2 Christmases ago, almost a year and a half ago. And it's massive. This dinosaur is huge. So I know I was definitely undercharging my price, on it and the value of it. So I think that is why I have so much of this yarn, is because I originally started crocheting the dinosaur snugglers with the chenille yarn, and now I no longer do that. But I got lots of suggestions for the dinosaur. People said rhino and hippos as well. People also said to do a mouse with overalls, like if you give a mouse a cookie, they suggested that as well. Stingrays, dolphins, all kinds of things. So I think I'll keep this yarn to do that, because then I can still offer pocket whales with this yarn and still make money with this yarn versus selling it. But there is a lot of this blue yarn. This one needs to go up here for now, and then this one needs to be wound, and then it'll probably be stashed up here because I already have those 2 large stack skeins of yarn in the yarn cabinet. So that needs to go here. This will be put away, but I see the label is ripping, so it makes me want to wind it, but I know I shouldn't. I'm not going to. And then, oh my gosh, another chenille yarn. Guys, I thought I got all the chenille yarn. I guess I didn't. I didn't get it all. Anyway, we'll wind this up and then we'll put it in the yarn cabinet too. Okay, that is all of the blue yarn here. Let's go wind. Now that we got all of the yarn wound, let's go ahead and put it back on this shelf. Got the full skeins here, and then the darker blue and this blue. These are two blues that I don't use that often, but I'm going to keep. This one here, fuzzy yarn, and this will be the next color that I'd like to stash, bust, and finish off. And then we have these other colors. So we're just going to stick them all in here. Let me put this one here in the back because I don't use it as often. And then I'll put this blue. I'll put this blue here so that we can work on stash busting these. This is just extra yarn for like a scrunchie. And then extra, like little tiny extra. Okay, blue is done. Let's move on to, no, I don't have that much purple, honestly, guys. And I think I'm going to get rid of this one and possibly this other one because I haven't touched it and I don't enjoy working with it. Like I don't like it. I don't know. It's just a personal preference. I thought it would be cute and then I actually don't touch it. So there's that. So I am just going to keep the two big skeins there because they're okay. And I already wound these. So I just need to wind this one. Since there's so much space here and this has a ton, I may use both of these for pink and purple and or put all fuzzy yarn here in this little space because I have fuzzy yarn throughout the shelves and they could use their own space. So may put it right here and share it with purple because I never have a ton of purple. This is how I'm going to organize the pink so far, and I put the rest of it here in this bucket to be wound. We got all of the 4 shelves done. Honestly, I'm feeling really proud of myself and I really like how that turned out. I did decide to add the fuzzy yarn here, so that is all done. And tomorrow we're going to start tackling each of these shelves and getting them all organized as well. Hey guys, okay, we are back for the next day. We ran some family errands, and so I decided to go ahead and wind the next 2 shelves, and I did some organization, and so let me show you what I finished or what is going on with my organization of my yarn for right now. I didn't plan on doing a ton. It just ended up happening that way, that some of the skeins were too large that I couldn't cake yet or like weren't used, and then others that were already caked, so I just kind of simply organized it. So let me go ahead and show you guys. Okay, so here is what it's looking like right now. I did pull out, so I caked and organized the creams and the grays. Most of these are large skeins, and so they're going to stay there. But some other ones that were already previously caked, I did cake some other ones in there, but I did pull out all of the Wool Ease Thick and Quick yarn and stacked it up there. I put my second yarn winder here, and I put my knitting machine somewhere else for the moment. And then the browns I couldn't really cake at all, or they were already caked because they're too big, so I left them like this. I did move some around, like this skein was down here on this shelf, and so was taupe was down here, so we got them all back to where they should be. And then for this shelf was a lot of reds and oranges. I don't currently have a ton of reds anyway, so like most of it is oranges. So I decided for this shelf that it would be the pink corals because it's really close to pink right here. And then this shelf would be more of the red and orange red tones for yarn. And then the bottom will be yellow and mustards and bright oranges. So I have the basket here for me to cake in a little bit. I'm not going to do that quite right now. I'll probably do this tomorrow actually, since I've already done all of this. But I did want to put it in the basket since I've already moved it around. I also have these two skeins. These skeins will go here on this shelf, and then the other one will go up here. I do want to get this organized fairly soon, so hopefully that will be the next step after we tackle this basket and put on. But I think it's looking really good, and I'm really proud of myself for trying to organize the yarn. I don't know quite for sure what's going to happen with the worsted weight yarn, so this may stay for a minute, especially since I've previously already organized this. It just kind of looks messy, but I have so much worsted weight yarn, guys. There's a lot there. So this honestly is the biggest priority, and that's what we're going to do shortly. But I wanted to give you an update on what I worked on with yarn organizing. I'm going to go ahead and crochet because I haven't had a chance to yet. It's currently about 5 o'clock, and so I need to get started on an order. So we're going to go ahead and work on that. Okay, last night I decided to list the yarns that I don't want. So here are some of the acrylic. I also have this basket full of yarns as well. So this was an option of selling, and this one as well. And then I have these that I listed for sale too. This was like the chenille yarn, that baby Bernat, and then the 2 blanket yarns. And then this had some cotton yarn that I was getting rid of, and then the maker asked if I had cardamom, and so since I bought so much of it, I was able to part with one that she was looking for, because she originally was looking at this big twist thinking it was cardamom, but it's a dusty pink. And then the Feels Like Bliss is all in here. I'm just waiting for their shipping address so I can calculate shipping for them. All of the Feels Like Bliss. And then this one had the big twist lollipop with the bright orange and the bright pink. And then they also picked up some other skeins of acrylic yarn, like that bright pink, and then the multicolored peach back there. I also had this Hobby Lobby bag. I bought 3 of these normally for the tulip bag, but I only used 2. And so I'm going to take this one back, I think. This one was also on my purge list from Hobby Lobby, but with the tag still being on, I'm just going to see if they'll return it for me. Along with this one, I was going to make the hazel blanket with this, but then I didn't love how it was turning out. I had originally bought 2 skeins, and I just have 1 skein that I didn't touch, so I'm going to return this one, or at least see. I don't even remember why I bought this brown, so we're going to take this back. Along with this one. This one is the I Love This yarn. It's really pretty. It has a lot of sparkles in it, but I just don't think that it's going to fit what I wanted. And so I'm going to return it because I just don't think that I'll use it ever, because it's been quite a while since I bought this and still haven't touched it. And I know that there's a cotton yarn in here somewhere. Same with the I Love This cotton. We're going to be returning it too. So I originally have this one listed, and if they don't sell in my stores, then I'll take it back with my Hobby Lobby haul. I'm going to Hobby Lobby tomorrow, so I can take it back then. Hey guys, okay, let's do a little update. It's been a few days since I vlogged for the yarn organization. I've been waiting on a couple of, well, I ordered a new shelf to stack on top of my white one. And I also ordered a couple of organization things to help me be organized, because I currently have drawers just filled with things and it's a mess. And so we're going to be organizing that. I still have not wound up the yarn for the last two shelves, the red and the orange shelves. So I still need to do that. I still haven't done that. We'll get to it. But so there's still quite a bit of organization that still needs to be done in this little corner space. I did list all of my yarns to be purged in my Instagram stories. So thankfully several skeins were able to be picked up and someone purchased them. Well, a variety of different people purchased them. They're still up in my stories. Obviously you won't see this though because it's going to expire within 24 hours. Tonight it'll expire because I uploaded them last night, but it just feels really nice to have those being purged and I don't have to worry about the yarn anymore. I'm going to ship them today so that they're completely out of my house and they can go to their forever home so that they can be used. In my stories last week, I posted about a Q&A. So any questions that you had for me, personal or business related, I would be answering them in this vlog. And today we're going to be answering those questions. So while I am putting together the shelves and doing some organizations, I thought I would take time today to answer your guys' questions on Etsy, some things about my personal life, and things of that nature. A lot of the questions were geared towards Etsy and the growth on Etsy and the growth of my Etsy shop, and what led to that success. So we're gonna go ahead and jump right into it. I have a couple packages, so I'll unbox them with you and then we'll get started. Okay, here is the back end of it. We have extra skeins of yarn that haven't been claimed yet, packages that are shipping. This shipping station needs to be reorganized. I got another bamboo shelf like this one, and it's going to be stacked on top of this shelf. But then all of that still looks the same. Yeah, and there we go. So this basket has my knitting machine in it. It has the yarn from those two shelves. And then we need to figure out what to do with this little rack because it needs to be moved. So I'm going to go ahead and put the packages here in the little like tote so that it can go to the post office, and then I can move these out of the way. This one's done. Okay, and then this one's not quite done yet. Okay, and then I'm just gonna move this basket out of the way because it still needs to be wound, and then I can get to all of these items. Y'all know that I have 4 kids and my littlest one is back here with me. Hopefully he allows me to build the shelf while I'm answering questions for you guys. But this is supposed to be this bamboo shelf that's here, but a smaller version. So I'm gonna go ahead and unbox it. And I thought that while I'm putting it together, I'll answer your guys' questions. You guys had some really good questions and there are a lot of them. So we're just gonna, I wrote them all down on my list after you guys asked them. I tried to put them in order so that it would kind of flow so it wasn't mixed around if you have the same question. I'm gonna do the somewhat personal questions and then we'll go into the business. Okay. You get all these pieces out first. Yeah, it's gonna be a shelf. We're gonna put it together in a minute.
Me? No, it's a tree.
Yeah, it is cute. It's all wrapped nice, isn't it?
It's so cute.
Yeah, it is.
I flip.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Okay. I know you want to help. Can you take this off? There you go, that's perfect. Okay, I hear these, so let's take out our little tools. You want to pull this off? We're gonna need this for directions. Here. Yeah, see the directions are here on the back. This is gonna help us when we're building it, okay?
We're building?
Yeah, we're gonna build it. So I'll put it right here, okay? So we can look at it. Okay, why don't you take this little sheet off? Perfect. And then it looks like... He's not on you. Here you go. Take this one off. That one's... That's all right. Here's this one too. Got this? It's kind of staticky, isn't it? It wants to stick to you. Here you go. Pull this one off. There you go. Thanks, babe. That's all of them. Perfect. Thanks. High five. Perfect. Okay, so let's take a look to see what we got here. I need this. And then let's stack this up over here. Okay. I'm going to put these out here. Oh, here it is. It totally blended in. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, we thought this was missing, but it actually isn't. Here, come over here so you can be seen. Come over here. There you go. Say hi. Hey. Okay. The boys helped me build it and it looks so nice. So now we're going to take off all of this and organize it for here. Okay, it sits up there perfectly. I didn't want it too tall like this one, so I just did the mini 3-shelf and I did measure to make sure it was going to fit there. And so I think it's going to work nicely to give extra storage than just on top of this. Okay, so in my second Amazon box that I got, I ordered these mini crates. I got the pink one. There's 4 of them in there. These are a bit tinier than what I was thinking, but I think it'll work out. And then these little organizers, they don't have a lid on them. They are just open, but I wanted them for the bigger drawers up here and maybe in my other organizer set. So we're just going to see if we can make that work. I didn't measure anything other than this shelf, but that's okay. So I have a lot of this velvet yarn and this is for beanies and I wanted it all to be together. So I'm thinking about stacking the beanies, the yarn for the beanies here. And then I do have these organizers that I got from At Home. They stack, but they're not all in one unit. So I could probably split them up on the shelves. But this one has all of my beanie palms in it. I wanted a drawer for that. Another one has ribbon and other seasonal like embellishment decorations. And then the last one has the Christmas cones for the Christmas trees. And so I'm gonna see if I can maybe put the Christmas trees in like one of these so that I can free up another bin. So let's just kind of see how it works out. I put together the mini size and it's pretty small. It fits 1 skein of burlap velvet. So this is not going to work for the original idea that I was thinking, but it could still also work for whips and miscellaneous projects, anything else that I need to hold. So I'm gonna still keep them. And then let me show you what I think what I'm thinking about for the organizations. They don't all fit together to stack up. And so I had one here, and one here, and I didn't like how that looked. So I think I may keep it like this. We'll see, but I think for now I'm going to load the velvet yarn here and see how that looks. I pulled the big bag of velvet yarn from my closet. Obviously, probably not all of it's going to fit up there, but I brought some other colors that I'll be using soon so that it kind of frees up some space in my actual closet. It needs to be brought out here anyway because I plan on putting extras up there, but that way we have some yarn. Anyway, I was going to do the Q&A with you guys while I was building the shelf, but then the boys wanted to help and it got a little hard to answer some of your guys' questions while I have talkative children. So while I put the velvet yarn on the shelf, we'll talk about some questions. So the first one was, how did you learn to crochet and what was your first project? Okay, so my grandma was, I'm gonna say was because she doesn't crochet anymore. She's 89, so she's still living. We just had her 89th birthday, but she no longer crochets because she has really bad arthritis and she can't see that well. So we're gonna say was. So my grandma was an avid crocheter. She crocheted everything for us. Once a year we always got like a crochet blanket. My grandma has 9 grandchildren, and so out of the 9 of us, each one of us would receive a crochet blanket each year, and we didn't know who the blanket was going to be for until it came time for Christmas and we were unwrapping the Christmas gift. She also would crochet blankets for her children as well, and so it was just always really fun to always see what my grandma was crocheting. She'd crochet family members' baby blankets, and so as I grew up watching her crochet, I also wanted to learn to crochet. So my grandma sat me down at about the age of 12 to crochet with me, teach me how to crochet. And it's so funny because the first project that we worked on that she was teaching me, I got to pick out my blanket and stuff from the catalog, and I picked out a velvet blanket because I thought it would be so soft and so easy to do. Velvet is not a good first time project, and my grandma, she never told me no. She bought me all of the stuff to crochet the blanket, but I could not do it because the velvet was so hard to work with. So she taught me the basic stitches on worsted weight yarn, and so even though my first try of a project was a polyester, like a velvet blanket, my actual first crochet project that I crocheted was a blue scarf. I was so proud of that scarf, guys, but honestly, it was not good. The edges were all like bumpy and everything. A lot of times there was like the wrong stitch count, but I wore that little scarf. I was about in 6th grade, and I remember wearing it to school and just being so proud of the scarf that I crocheted for myself. It was such a fun time. No one ever said anything bad about the scarf. Actually, when people asked where I got the scarf, I told them that I made it, and I was so proud of myself for doing it, and so everyone was always so kind about it, but clearly it was not good. The next question I got was, how did you and your husband meet? Me and my husband met, I was 16 at the time. I was dating somebody else, but we were working at the same Mexican restaurant. He was the waiter, I was the hostess. I worked there a couple months before he started working there. But it was just, it's fun to see our relationship now because at the time I was dating someone else. He was always respectful, but I always did know he had a crush on me. And anyway, that's how we met. We both worked the same job. And we've been together since I was 17. Our kids ask us that a lot, like, how did you guys meet? And so it's been really fun to share with them that we both worked at the restaurant together and that I was the hostess and he was the waiter. The next question that I got was, do you plan on returning to teaching? So if you are new here, I am a resigned teacher. I was teaching for 4 years before I decided to resign to stay home with my boys. At the time, I had 3 boys that were going into childcare, and I decided to stay home with them. I got 1 year home with Mason. Before then, he moved to kindergarten this year, or this past year. And so then I just had 2 boys at home. And then this coming fall, Maddox will be going to preschool half-time. And so I'll just have 1 boy for all day, even though we'll have Maddox half of the day. I haven't fully decided if I'm going to return to teaching or not. I've gotten this question a lot. When we did kindergarten roundup, I was even offered a position with the elementary school here in the town that I live. Now, I've never taught in the town where I actually live. I've always traveled at least 30 minutes to an hour for teaching, so it would be very different to teach in a town that I actually live at, although that would be the dream job, because traveling ended up being so much of our time in the car. But I don't know. There was a lot that went into why I resigned from my last position, and I'm honestly really scared to get back into teaching because of everything that I faced that last year leading up to resigning. Even though I had 3 boys in childcare, resigning was never really what I wanted to do, but I felt like the things that were going on in the school were not appropriate and would end up falling on a hardship for me in my teaching career, and I wasn't going to put myself in a position for that. And so during spring break, right before spring break, I announced that I was going to be resigning and staying home with the boys. I didn't ever feel like I could fully say the exact reasons of why I was resigning, because I had to keep the relationship cordial in case my newest position ever, principal ever called my old position. I didn't want there to be any drama or anything that would come out of it where it would hurt me in the long run. So I just said that I was resigning to stay home with the boys, and that is exactly what we did. I didn't go find a different job. Last year, it took me all year to be okay emotionally and being able to talk about teaching. I have a teacher Instagram and I never get on it. I had a teacher YouTube and I also don't get on it. It took me a long time to be able to watch other people talk about teaching and what they're doing in their classroom before I felt like I could be okay, because of all the trauma that came with teaching and that surrounded the profession. So I feel like I'm okay, but I don't feel like my heart can fully take on something so big like that again and be vulnerable enough to be put in that position where it ends up being my fault when nothing was my fault at all. So that was very, very hard. So I don't know if I'm going to be returning to teaching or not. I still have 2 years until I need to make a final decision. And even with Madden being in kindergarten in 2 years, I talked about maybe just subbing in the school and seeing if it's going to be a good fit for me or not, or just seeing how this business works out. If the business is taking off, if it supplements my income for teaching, then I will probably stick with my small business. And if I really miss it that much, I can go sub and have 1 day of teaching in my life. So I'm just being really cautious about how things will go. I'm being very cautious about what I want and who I will be working for in the future. So that is the long version of if I'm going to return to teaching or not. I got the dark pink, the light pink, and this gray or green here. I need to still do this gray. The boys pulled off the labels from playing in the closet, but I think this will work out where it can go right here. It's not like the prettiest. It's still actually quite messy, but I think it might be okay. Here is what the velvet yarn looks like right now. We're going to leave it like this and then keep organizing. I have some small balls of yarn. I think I'll just put them in here of velvet because I still need to use these. These are still good for like the keychain wristlets that I use. And I have a couple up here that can go in as well. Ooh, look at that. And we'll just stack them in here. Okay, so there is what the yarn looks like so far, and I think I'll just stick it up on the shelf. Okay, up next we're going to be tackling this situation until I figure out what else to do for up here. So I'm gonna go ahead and like go through this and keep answering your guys' questions. Some of this has gotten overflown. I have a little organizer that's going to probably help me with the like some of this stuff. But I just like shoved yarn here and other packaging stuff that I probably will never use. Like, let's be honest. I don't know. I would buy something and then it wouldn't work out for what I was needing it. Maybe it was too small or maybe it was too big. Most of the times it was too small than what I was actually looking for because I didn't know the size of what I was wanting. And I just never returned it. Most of the time, if it was like somewhere here, like locally at my Walmart, I just didn't never return it. I'd keep it for things that I thought I might need later on if it was a small object. But then what comes about is that I don't actually end up ever using it. And it still doesn't actually ever work out. So I have a lot of that going on here. So I think I'm just going to pull everything off of here and then go through it, or at least go through a like keep and trash or keep and donate kind of style. So while we're doing that, let's go to the next question. What is your favorite part about your small business? My favorite part will always be like at markets. My absolute favorite part is just seeing people shop my handmade items, and I do really enjoy getting the question of, do you make this? And then when I tell them yes, just seeing their overwhelming response of positivity towards that I handmade everything that they see in my booth, that will probably always be my favorite. There isn't really anything like seeing people actually shop your handmade items and getting immediate feedback on what they loved, or maybe what color they wish something else was, or just getting their feedback of, do I have X, Y, and Z? Like, do you have a koala? I've gotten, do you have a llama? A lot. And I haven't actually ever crocheted a llama. But so those are just like things that you take into account when you're doing markets. What are people looking for? If things sold really well, people are loving those items. Just watching people shop my handmade items is just really fun. They get to enjoy what I crocheted, and I get to enjoy their reactions, whether they purchase something or not. Just their positivity and encouragement is such a blessing. I absolutely love that so much. So that will probably always be my favorite thing at markets. And then my favorite thing, like behind the business that people don't get to see, is me picking colors, picking what I want to make and the patterns that come out, what I want to crochet and what that will look like. And then also being able to package everyone's orders. I don't get that face-to-face time, but I still get to think and imagine like who someone is buying this for and their gifting reason for it. And I really love that so much. Okay. Why is someone's toothbrush here? Little boys, little boys. I know that that's one of their like play cleaning brushes, but come on, boys. Okay, I need to keep this. I usually keep the organza bags in their plastic just to keep them nice. So we're going to be keeping this. We're going to be keeping this, but I mostly use this for like teacher gifts and stuff. So I'm going to be keeping this, but it's not going to be here in this little organization. I'm going to probably keep it with my gift wrapping stuff. So that needs a new home. These are the new Polymailers that we got. These, I just have 2 left of these lemon ones. They're the small versions. this Santa. Oh my gosh. I think this came with what, 150? 100 pack. Yeah. I was like, why am I still going through this? It's because there was 100 here. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay, I got the bottom shelf cleared out. There's a lot of like mix match of polymailers. So I think for right now, until the organization comes, I'm going to put the polymailers in order based on holiday, because I have Christmas. I still have some Halloween ones, which will be nice because then I don't have to order new polymailers this season, because we still have leftover. But they're really fun. I liked them a lot. I also found these extra ones back in the very back that had fallen down. The kids are being all crazy now, running around. They always play very rowdy games. I don't know if that's ever like at your house, but my boys always are trying to tackle each other and anything else. Okay. Hey.
Did you clean up our room?
I did tidy up, yeah.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to tidy up this area now.
Oh, you got a new stand?
What? Yeah, I did, because it got broken. The other ones got broken. Okay, so then we have, I think I'm going to put this at the top so that I can use it, and then it's all done. I also have these gold bags, and I need to keep these because this was for like the golden lucky winner thing in one of the markets that I attend in November. So I'm gonna need to keep that because I plan on attending it again this year in November, and they're going to ask for a gold bag. So I have these small organza bags. This was the original size that I bought before I found the very large size that fits all of my snugglers and everything. This does still work for small items, like especially if I am shipping the little cuddle critters, this works perfectly for them. The hatching chick, I believe, also fits. It's a little bit of a tighter squeeze than the cuddle critters. So I think I'm going to keep a handful of these so that I can use them. But I think I'll take the rest, honestly, to markets so that if someone bought something small, I can just put it in a little tiny organza bag. And that way I'm going through the bags instead of them just kind of sitting here, because I think this is my third summer with these bags. And I have a lot of them because I don't use them as often as I thought I would. I also don't post a ton of small items in my shop. I save the small items for markets. So I think we'll get a handful of these, and then we may put them like under here. I put the blocking puzzle pieces here as well. There is that, and we'll just see how this works out. This can continue to sit here for now until we get the little tier organizer, because then this is going to go somewhere else. Okay, moving on. Okay, in the middle shelf, I found tissue paper. This goes with this bag, so I'm just going to stick it here in here so that they're both together when it's time for me to use it in November. That will be perfect. This is the thermal printers. We still use this. I found the purse things that didn't work out for Core's bag, but I decided to keep them in case there's another bag that I wanted to make that I could use this with. So I'm just going to keep them. This is ribbon from the recent bag, or the recent blanket that I tied. This needs to be put back. a spot in a little bit. But this shelf is finally all cleaned. Okay, in the middle drawer, I put this big organizer, and then I put the bottom of the bags, the bag strap, and then I use the two little ones. So this is the medium sized and the small sized. I just put the little gold hooks that go with the bags here, and then this is the pantyhose, because we won't use this very often, but then it's all together. Okay guys, so I took a break from vlogging part of the organization, so I'll just show you what I've done so far with cleaning. It is quite a mess, but it always gets worse before it gets better, so let me flip the camera around and show you what's going on. Well, I did these two, and then I stopped with this one, and then I decided to start tackling this area. I put the mirror here. It was on top of this, and then pulled out some things. This had like a random whip in it. I decided to put ribbon, and then this needs to be moved. There was like a ton of things stacked here, and so I still have this box. I still need to clean off this and then have my husband take the box, and then this is what the floor area looks like. I've just been separating everything. This is extra containers, whip. This has like seasonal school gift bag things, like when they have their parties and everything. This is the yarn. This is a teaching activity that I pulled out for the boys that needs to go back in the garage. And then other miscellaneous supplies. So a lot of things need to find a new home. And so that's what we're going to be working on. I don't know if I'll vlog the part of trying to find everything a home, just because I'll be in and out of the frame a lot and trying to move things where they're actually supposed to be. But I'll check back in with you guys when I get this all cleaned up. Okay, I got the dresser cleaned off. I have not seen this dresser cleared off since we probably moved into this house, guys. Like, it's just been something that we've always had a clutter on. And so it's really nice to see it clear. But I'm going to go ahead and start filling, like laying the yarn down here. That's what I'm going to use it for, as extra yarn storage that only holds extra yarn. I think that's how it's going to have to stay. This side kept falling down, and I'm wondering if it's because it was stuck in plastic, but I just left the plastic on. This will work out just fine. And it looks, I feel like, a lot nicer than what it did before with random boxes and other things there. I'm going to continue answering questions while I take a break from organizing. Sometimes this can feel really overwhelming with where to place everything and how you want it to look, but also be functional. So I'm going to take a rest, but still answer your guys' questions while I am taking a break. I think the last question that I answered was, what is my favorite part about my small business? So the next question that was asked is, do you have any items in your shop that you did not enjoy making? The answer is yes. However, they are no longer in my shop. The one that I thought is still really cool, it's such a neat pattern, was the ice cream turtle. That was a really neat pattern. I'll link the picture here of what I crocheted. But I didn't love putting it together. I did not enjoy sewing on the cone, and if you didn't get the cone right, it ended up being a very weird placement and it didn't look very good. And so I think I made that pattern 4 times, 2 times the first time, and then a second time, 2 more times. And after that, I was like, I have to pull this from my shop. I don't want to make this anymore. it was working with Parfait Chunky and Chenille yarn, and I was at that stage where I wasn't for sure which one I liked better or if I even liked it at all. And I was trying Bernat Blanket instead, and so it wasn't something I wanted to crochet in Bernat Blanket. So that's one item that I crocheted that I did not enjoy making, and it's no longer in my shop. I've done that for a few other items as well. The pumpkin turtle is a cool make, but it's not something I want to batch. So I've taken it out of my shop. Pretty much any of the turtles, honestly. I think the turtles are so cute, but it's just not something that I want to batch. I hate making 4 fins and it being only for 1 turtle. Like, that does not bring me joy at all. I think if you don't enjoy making that item, take it out of your shop, because if that ends up being like the item that goes big and you have to make it 40 times, oh bless you, like goodness, I don't think that you would enjoy making it, and it would probably definitely ruin your crojo. So if it's not something that brings you joy, don't make it. The next question is, what is the #1 lesson you've learned so far in choosing markets to apply to? Okay, so I think the #1 lesson that I learned when applying to markets is, I know that we all say to attend the market if you can as a shopper, and then, you know, maybe talk to vendors and see their experience and then try the market. However, that doesn't always work out. What sells really well for them may not sell really well for you, especially if it's in a different niche. And there is one market in particular that was said to be a really good market up in the city. And I went the first year, well, it wasn't the first year of the market. I went the year prior of being a vendor. I was pregnant, we were shopping. It was such a busy market. And so I was like, this would be really fun to attend to if I can ever get in, because it was kind of a waitlisted market. And so the following year when I started doing markets, I went to apply to this market and I was waitlisted, and it was like the week of the market I got asked to come. And so I paid the fee. It was like $150 for 2 days. I went, I set up, and although it was busy, people weren't actually truly shopping. It was almost like it was an event that people used as a time waster before they had to do something else. So if maybe they were waiting for an appointment, or they were looking for something to do in between activities or appointments, they would go and look around, but they didn't actually have the intention of shopping. And so I think within the 2 days I made a little over $400. But again, my booth fee was $150, and it was like an all-day thing for both days. And for me, it was an 1.5-hour drive. So both ways. I knew that for the next year I would not be attending this market because it just didn't fit my time or what I felt was worth the market. And so I think as you go and do these markets, one, just give it a try anyway, because you don't really know until you get there and you truly are the vendor versus the shopper, because there's a total difference in being the shopper versus a vendor. And just giving yourself the opportunity to try it and seeing if it works out for you. There are some events that I've done that I didn't think would be very good and ended up being one of the best shows. So definitely don't sell yourself short and give them a try. That is definitely the #1 lesson that I've learned. The next question. Someone said, you've got the best setup and aesthetic booth ever. How do you choose color and products you want to make? I think I've talked about this before in the past. My colors, I do have a variety of colors, but I don't always gravitate towards them. Now that I am more a little bit established about what I want, I gravitate more towards the neutral, natural looking colors, having a realistic color, animals and stuff in my shop. And when you get your colors, somehow it becomes cohesive anyway. I don't really know how to explain that, other than it's just kind of cohesive. when you start working with the same colors, they all begin to like group together nicely and look nicely put together. And so for me, my favorite color is pink, and I've always loved it paired with the color mustard. Those are my favorite two. In the fall, I absolutely love the color mustard, and so I knew for my brand those were the two colors that I wanted. I have more of a wooden farm girl kind of aesthetic, but that's also how my classroom was when I was teaching. I liked the greenery, the florals, the white background or black and white. Like, that's just how my classroom was. I'll insert pictures here. The garland that I use, actually I used in my classroom. It was up on top as decoration, and so there are a lot of things that used to be in my classroom that I use for markets. Like my checkout stand is actually a night table stand. I used it in my classroom to hold my read aloud books and phonics when I was doing it in the front of the room with the class, and now I use it as a checkout stand, and so that kind of goes together. And so because it's something that I personally like, it also shows up in my booth and in my classroom, in my home. I have a lot of gray in my home, a gray couch, green accent colors. So things that I like naturally just come to me within my booth, and it kind of all brings it together. I like how the white tablecloth with the gray and the greenery kind of just, it brightens up my booth, but then it allows my products to have the most attention and just be like a very pleasing accent in the background. And so that is how it kind of just all comes together. But I hope that's helpful. I would just say, just be true to you and your style and what you like, and it will all come together for you. I know that we see different things that we like and we're like, oh, I want to try this and I want to try that. But think about, is this something that you would find personally within your home or your work? And if it's not, then it's not going to fit you, and people will feel that that's not quite your vibe. So keep that in mind whenever you're thinking about how you want your booth to look, how you want your products to come along together. They will all reflect you and your personality and how you like things. The next market question, I kind of grouped all my market questions together. It says, do you cap the number of different items? I don't cap the number of different items. I like to have a variety of items in my booth so people can shop, especially at a variety of different price points. I've talked about this before in a reel that if you have a mom or, you know, a grown-up who is coming in and shopping for lots of children, they may be only able to afford something in their budget that's $10 and less. If they only have one child that they're shopping for or a special occasion, they will be more likely to purchase something that's at a higher ticket price. And so just keeping all of that in mind. But I just make whatever I want to make, whatever makes me happy, what I know that's going to sell really well, because I've been doing markets now. This will be my second full year, so I've been doing markets now for 2.5 years. I have kind of gotten an idea of what has sold really well. I look back at the data from my markets to see what sold at that market, what I should make more of, what sold out really quickly so I can make sure I have more of, so that more people can purchase, all of those things. I think it's good to have a variety of different things. I'm not one, though, to only crochet one item of each pattern. So I will not make 30 plus items with only one of each. I will make several of that same item in order to market prep them so that I get the most money out of my time. So I hope that's helpful. Just make what you want to make, and it'll all come together. And then you also, when you're filling your booth, only put, like, let's say you made 10 leggy frogs. I'm not going to put all 10 of them out because that will be overwhelming, but I will probably put out 4 to 6. And that way when they sell out, I can restock, but I'm not having to restock every second that one sells. So think about it as that way too. Next question. Someone said they would love to know more about how to track and manage social media posting. I'm probably not the right person to ask for this because I do not track my social media posting. I'll look to see the engagement on it and how well it was engaged with other things that I've made. But I really try not to look at it because I know that the algorithm always changes. I've distanced myself a little bit from how much I post on social media lately. If you asked me last year, I posted a reel every single day for a whole year when I first started back in 2023 to the end of December of 2024. Now that we're in 2025, I've been posting more pictures than I have been posting reels, and more pictures have seemed to grab people's attention more than reels lately versus when I did it a year and a half ago. It was reels that got more attention than photos. And so I would say by posting a reel, I gained a bigger audience than I did if I was posting just pictures. And so that was really helpful to grow my social media account. But I truly don't track my social media and managing my social media. When I batch things or make things or even have custom orders, I will take a picture of it. I will also take a video of the same product because I need both of those for Etsy if I was going to sell the item on Etsy too. So every item always has pictures. Every item also has a video. And then I can pick and choose between whether I want to post a video or a photo. On Saturday, I made the cherries, the avocado, and the peas. And so already I have 3 days of social media. I can either post a video or a photo for 3 different days on 3 different products that I've made and say something about them. I'm currently working on dinosaurs. My sister wanted a dinosaur for a baby shower. And so I also needed to batch dinosaurs for my market prep. And so then I will also have a video and a picture of the dinosaurs. So I have at least 2 other days. So that's already 5 days out of the week that I have something for social media. Maybe I don't know exactly what I'm planning, but I have something that I can talk about or show that I've made, show to customers what they can pick from if I'm gearing my content towards shopping. I have that as well. When you're just crocheting, take B-roll, take a video of you just crocheting in the process. That's already content. You, 1, already have to crochet. 2, you might as well vlog doing it or take a video of you doing it. So you can do something like point of view and then do a video on that. A really easy one is what I crocheted in a week. And so every time that you make something or at the end of the week, video what you crocheted. And that's automatically content. So little things will pop up that you may have not thought about before, but I don't really manage it. I just take pictures of what I'm doing and then I post it. Also for managing social media, sorry, my little one is back here with me. I have my Facebook connected to my Instagram. So whatever I post on Instagram automatically posts to Facebook. And so I don't necessarily always have to post 2 separate different things. More than likely you will see that whatever was posted on Instagram is also posted on Facebook. By having both of those accounts connected, I don't have to always worry about what one thing is going to be said on one social media platform and something else that's going to be said on another platform. Even though I have Instagram and Facebook connected, there are something like pictures do really well on Facebook, whereas a reel does much better on Instagram than it does on Facebook. So I know if I've shared my reel, when I posted my reel on Instagram, I know it won't get as many views as it did on Facebook. There are some occasions where it's the same or more, like market reels always do really good on Facebook. But just like me doing a video of the product that I have made, Instagram sees it more than Facebook does. So I think just keeping that in mind with your audience on who's there is really helpful for when you are tracking and trying to manage your social media. But social media is really just a place to highlight what you've made and making connections with other people. And so I think the more that you start to obsess over it, the more it starts to just kind of like be the only thing that you think about. And then you start to doubt yourself and you're not as creative when you think about, I have to do this. Or you start being conflicted on what to post. Just let it come naturally. Whatever you're crocheting, or even if it's not a finished product or a finished make, show it anyway, because a lot of people like to see the process behind crochet and how it's done, what it looks like, because more often than not, all they get to see is the finished product. And there are so many other times of potential content that you can share with your audience, whether they're a maker or a shopper. They both love to see the process and what you're doing and what you're creating. So just keep that in mind as you start to create your own content for your small business. It doesn't have to be hard, and you don't have to you don't have to obsess about it. I did track my followers for a while with my follower tracker. That's just something I wanted to do personally. I have them linked in my Instagram underneath I think a tracker highlight. I just like to see that because sometimes we see the numbers and then we get in our head that we're not growing. But when you sit down at the end of the day and look at your follower count and write the number down, you can clearly see that you've made growth. Even if it's just by one follower, that's one extra follower you didn't have who's interested in your journey, who's interested in seeing what you've made and what you have to say and what you have to share that you didn't have the day before. And so for me, I really liked tracking my followers. But that was really all that I tracked. And I stopped tracking once I got to 10,000 followers, because then it got really hard. You couldn't see the exact number, and it was more extra steps. And I really just wanted to reach 10,000 followers. And I started in July 2023, and I got 10,000 followers in February or March of 2025. So it does take time. But you will get there. And it's been really fun to see the community build and make so many friendships along the way. So don't obsess over it, just have fun with it and keep making and keep creating. Okay, I'm gonna pause there on questions. I still have several questions, but they'll start to move into Etsy related questions. There is one more about social media, but I'll talk about that later. Hey guys, okay, we are a couple days later than what I first showed you. I took a break from this yarn organization and was crocheting some dinosaurs, and I have a lot of yarn to put back on my shelves. I was doing a made to order listing for the dinosaur snugglers while I was also batch making, and so I wanted to get all of that tackled in once. Therefore, I have a lot of yarn that needs to go back on the shelves and get it organized again. I still have that basket of these last two shelves that need to be wound and caked, so we're gonna do that tonight. But I thought, since I was putting back reorganizing the yarn and putting it back on the shelves, that I would chat with you guys again about your questions and finish them up. A lot of the questions that are upcoming deal a lot with Etsy. So what platform led to the most growth? How to get the lowest shipping price? Do I prefer made to order or stock-in items in my Etsy shop? How do I start getting sales in Etsy? So all of those questions I'm going to answer. There was one question that I said that I would go back to because it dealt with like balancing crochet and social media after our last question. And so this question is, how do you balance crocheting, business, social media, marketing, etc.? Honestly, I balance crochet with trying to take it anywhere and everywhere. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I crochet as I can, and therefore I have more time than most people do who also work a full-time job. I am a stay-at-home mom raising 2 boys that are not in school. The other 2 are in school. And so this year will also look different. I'll just have 1 boy at home while the other boy is in preschool half days. So this year will look totally different than it does every year. And I think just balancing all of that changes with what is changing in the season of life that you're in. So with crocheting, I just crochet whenever I can crochet. If the boys are playing nicely, I'll pick up my crochet and work on it. I do a lot of crocheting when the boys have gone to bed. They no longer take naps anymore, so crocheting during that quiet nap time, I don't have. But if I'm going to an appointment, like for my oldest children, I'll take crochet with me. If we're visiting family, I'll take crochet with me. If we're going to a friend's house, I'll take crochet with me. Because you'll find little tiny pockets of time for you to work on things while you're chatting with friends and family, while your kids are playing with their cousins and other friends. You're still close by, but you're also working on something. And so I like to take projects where I don't have to constantly look at the pattern. Like maybe a snuggler, I know how the mini bodies work, and so I can look at it and know what's going to come for the next couple rows, where I can work on that while watching my children play, and I'm still close by but also still doing something for my business. So that's how I manage crochet. Social media, I just told you guys in the last question, just post what you want to post. I don't obsess over what I'm posting. I post what I'm making. I post my progress. I post if there's a custom order, or I'm batch making, or whatever it may be, I'm posting about it and you guys see it. And I'm also vlogging it. And so if I'm vlogging it, it's already in one social media platform. I'm going to show it again in a different social media platform. So I like to show Facebook and Instagram are together. They usually hold the same things. TikTok, I do usually a little bit of a different style video just because the audience is different. And then YouTube is also like your guys's videos that you guys see now. So there's 3 different styles of content. However, it's the same content, just recorded a little bit differently. But it's not too different where I have to think about it. I don't script what I say. That takes a lot of the joy out for me with it. I also get hung up on words if I'm trying to script it. So I don't ever script anything. I have a plan for what I want to do in the video, but I do not sit down. I do not script anything. I'm just talking to the camera and talking to you guys as if you guys were here with me. And so that is what that looks like. Marketing and social media are one and the same. If you are advertising or posting about your small business, you are also marketing on your small business. If something's in your Etsy shop, you can share it to your Instagram stories about what's available in your Etsy shop and sending over the link. I market again when you're at markets. Hand out your business cards. Say that they can shop online later with you in the future with your Etsy shop and how they can get to it. All of those things are small details, but all good marketing strategies for you to use when you are out and about. I also like to carry this little keychain. I can't remember who made it, but it's a little Instagram things, and on the back has my QR code for my Instagram. So sometimes I'll get questions about what I'm making. Like when Mia has her hair appointments, I would take things to work on while she's getting her hair done. And people would ask me like what I'm making, and then they are interested in following, my social media, and so they just scan the QR code and now they follow what I do in my small business. And I think that's so fun because I'm getting the community involved in what I crochet by going to appointments within the community. So it doesn't really have to be hard. It doesn't have to be this paying a lot of money for marketing and advertising. Just talk about your small business. There was a quote that I read that says, you can't have a small business if you don't talk about your small business. Meaning, if you never say anything about your small business or show what you're doing in your small business to people around you, no one knows you have the small business. So talk about it. It's very uncomfortable at the very beginning, but a lot of people are interested and they want to know. So talk about your small business so that you can continue to have a small business, and they can share your small business, and your best purchases will come by word of mouth. So hang in there. Okay, so now hopefully you don't mind that I'm going to be organizing this and talking to you, so I may not be directly looking at you, but we will still talk, because I could look at the camera forever and talk with you guys, but if I don't actually do things, I'm not productive and I'm just sitting here talking. So hopefully you don't mind that I will be doing things while not looking at you, but I'm still talking to you, okay? So the next question said, what platform has led to the most growth? Okay. Each social media platform is totally different, and what works really well on one platform may not work really well on the next platform, right? So Instagram and Facebook are like that a lot for me. Instagram loves the reels and Facebook loves the photos. So I've tried to do a mix of each style, which is why now I'm posting more photos on my Instagram than I used to. I used to post only reels, and now I'm posting a mix of both. More often than not, I'm posting more photos than I am reels, because I'm trying to hit the Facebook audience as well. So Facebook, Instagram has the most followers, but a lot of my followers are crafty followers, makers, and they are interested in inspiration. They are interested in booth display setup. They are interested in what to make and what are best sellers. Facebook is more interested in sales. So what really kicked off my small business was the post that I posted for February. It was Valentine's Day. I didn't have anything in particular that I was making, but I wanted to post something about Valentine's Day, and I had recently made a little bitty Della duck and the original style Della duck. And I just posted I didn't have like a lot, honestly, I didn't have a lot to say. All I said was happy Valentine's, sweet friends. And then you had the picture of baby Della with a purple headband. That was all. That photo on Facebook blew up faster than anything I could have ever imagined. I had tons of shares. Over 100,000 people had seen that photo, with sharing it and commenting how much they loved it and they were interested in buying it. And so that one post kind of signaled more of made to order items. Now, I already had a couple in my Etsy shop, but not a ton. Really, it was just the bitty cow that you could order different colors of, the bitty horses you could order different colors of, and the mallard snugglers, because I have two different style of feet colors. And so that was kind of really it. And so I knew a lot of people loved this baby Della duck, but maybe they weren't interested in the purple headband. And when I got a ton of questions asking about purchasing the Della duck, I then decided to do a made to order listing with just a few different headband colors. I looked at my stash here and pulled a couple different pinks. Like there was a light pink, a brighter pink, and then like a mauve pink. There was the purple, there was a green, there was a few different blues, like summery colors. So I was thinking like yellows and peach colored. And then so I took pictures of all of them, put them in a little template that I had already previously made, and then also wrote on the photos the two different sizes and how they compare. So there was a baby Della and the original Della together. I did the measurements. I'll put a picture here so you can see what that looks like. And then I did a drop down menu, said that it was made to order, and that's how people purchased. 10 baby Dellas sold and 8 large Dellas sold within 24 hours. it was the most money my small business had ever brought in just from that one post. And then because I was sharing people's orders, like it just kept increasing my Etsy sales with that one product. And then when Baby Bonnie came out, I did something similar, offered a variety of different colored bodies along with the headbands because the headband chart was already made up. So I put that in there because my work was already done for me for that. And then Baby Bonnie took off. And so I had tons of orders. And then because someone loved the baby duck with a headband, then someone reached out to me on Facebook and asked me if I could crochet the bitty cow, but then add a hair bow with it. So when I posted that, then the bitty cows blew up. And so it just seemed like it was one thing after another. All through Facebook. Yes, Instagram got a lot of attention as well, but it was just a lot of likes from other makers. I don't recall a ton of people coming from Instagram to shop my Etsy on those listings. It was mostly all coming from Facebook. Then when I posted that fuzzy Della duck, originally I just used the yarn to get rid of it. I had the yarn for over a year and still hadn't used it. And I had put a poll in my stories asking if I should do Baby Della or something else. I can't remember. And technically the other choice won. Baby Della was not supposed to be one of the choices that, like, it didn't win. But I was just on this Baby Della hype of crocheting her, and I knew it exactly that I was like, I could just quickly make this fuzzy Baby Della and I think I'd have plenty of yarn. And so I posted it, and then that one went viral. And that was the first photo of actually having people trying to pretend to be me to sell products. Like I had other people who were claiming to crochet commenting to people who were asking if they could purchase the item and saying that they could ship it. And so I had then a lot of like family members and friends messaging me asking about like, hey, did you see this comment? Hey, they're trying to impersonate you. And so then I had to make like a very publicized post about me just being the only small business owner for my shop and me being a mom of 4, and that they like to watch out for scammers because people are now attacking my post claiming to be me, that they can shop with you, and not to accept any purchases unless you're only purchasing through my Etsy shop. You're likely to be scammed is what the post was likely about, because there were so many, and I did not want anyone to fall into the scammer trap of trying to purchase a handmade item but then being scammed. How do you get sales into your Etsy shop? This is going to sound the craziest response, but once you start finding sales or making organic sales, Etsy pushes your store more and like almost puts it to the top of the search. And so when you get sales, it snowballs and creates more sales. After my shop went wild for like the first, those 3 months, February, March, April, my shop then was very quiet for me, like very, very quiet. I don't think many makers talk about this. Like once you're super busy, you think that you will continue to stay busy. However, Easter has already passed now, so Baby Bonnie and the Della ducks are still being purchased, but not as quickly and as often because maybe they were Easter basket gifts along with the cows. I know that a lot of them were Easter basket gifts. And so, yeah, for the month of May, I think I had 5 sales. No, not even 5 sales. I think I only had 2 or 3 sales for the month of May. But then here we are in June, and I just recently had that really busy week. And so it's like once someone purchased, then a lot of people were purchasing. And that's what I've been noticing, is that when I've made a couple of sales, my shop is being pushed out more. And so then I have a ton of sales. So now it's been quiet since that last week of shipping all of those orders with the Mama Made Minis plushies and the blankets. But now it's quiet again. And so, and that's okay. It gives me time to market prep. It gives me time to calm down before the storm gets all crazy again. And so just keep that in mind, is that it might not always be a huge hit all of the time, but that doesn't mean that your business isn't still succeeding in other ways. And so, just keep going and keep posting to social media, keep doing all of your marketing stuff, and sales will come. I will also say that when you're trying to make sales on Etsy, do not use Etsy's advertising, because that will decrease your sales and your rate of conversion. It will mess all of that up, and so it'll look like people are actually coming to your shop, but they're not purchasing, and therefore it'll turn around thinking that your shop or your listing isn't what people were actually looking for in their search, and it will push your listings down below. Okay, make sure in your titles you are using all of the 140 characters that you can use, and actually describe the item, like all of the SEO words that you would use to find your product. So if I had, so for SEO, let's say I'm doing the title for this cow to sell, I would be including that this is a crochet cow, and then you'll need to separate your words. So if you're moving on to a new idea, you need to separate it with either a comma or a little bar, and then keep going. Do not mix all of your words all together. Do not make this big, long sentence. And also do not just say crochet cow, because that's not going to push it out very far to very many people who are looking for something. I would type in crochet cow and then comma, or I do the bar. It's like just a little stick bar, and then I do a space, and then I do my next set of words, and then do the bar, and then the next set of words. So crochet cow, handmade, I would do handmade cow plushie, crochet farm animal, crochet farm nursery toy, handmade cow gift. I'll actually just screenshot what I actually put for this listing here, so that you can see exactly what I used and what it looks like, but you should be using all 140 characters. You should also be using the tags in your description. So after you write your description, all the way down at the bottom, it'll ask for tags, and you'll insert all of the tags. So you also need to be using all of the tags. I think you get 13 or 14 tags that you can do. And so you need to be using those as well for SEO words. And then for your description also needs to be very clear. You need to describe the item and why someone should purchase your item from you versus someone else who also crochets. What's special about it? Why, if you offer embroidered eyes, why is embroidered eyes maybe important versus safety eyes? How big the item is, how to care for the item, how to wash the item. Things like that. Whether it's coming from a smoking or non-smoking home, whether it's coming from an animal friendly or no pet home. All of those things are important when people are shopping. There should not be one question your shopper has that you did not possibly answer. So you're welcome to check out my Etsy shop and look at my descriptions if you're wanting to get an idea of how I lay it out. You need to keep your descriptions very consistent throughout your entire shop, so that everyone knows exactly how you lay things out in your shop. And so if they're looking for a certain size, they know they can scroll down and immediately find the size. People do not want to read paragraph after paragraph. So if you can make it like bullet points, but still be very clear and concise, then do that as well. Also, if you have a variety of different colors, or you're offering like this cow if I am offering just this purple cow in my listing, I should say purple cow only, and I should not have other pictures of other cows with this cow. Because if I see this cow and I swipe over to see the next picture and it's a picture of my black cow and my brown cow, and I swipe over again and then it's a picture of this cow with a headband, and then I swipe over again and it's a different picture, but down below it just says add to cart, I'm really confused as a buyer because I don't know which cow I'm buying. So make sure it's very clear. If you're only offering this one cow, then most of your pictures should just be this cow and what she looks like. If you're offering her with a headband, the headband needs to be in most of the pictures, or in the description say headband is removable. That way they know they can take it off or take it on, but they know exactly what they're getting and what they're buying, because you will confuse a shopper more than anything if they are not very clear on what they're buying, and then they get something in the mail and they thought they were getting one item but they're actually getting something else. That is what I would say about shopping and growing on Etsy. I'll link a couple of my favorite videos below. I've been really enjoying watching the YouTube channel called The Etsy Consultant. He seems very helpful for my Etsy shop and some of the things that I've implemented within my Etsy shop. And so I'll link a video down below of what I used for finding the SEO words and how to create your titles and stuff. I think that will be very beneficial for you to see if you're interested in doing those titles. You can also use Chat GPT. However, you only get so many certain free versions of Chat GPT before you have to start paying. And so I don't pay for Chat GPT, and I've used up all my free things. Therefore, I no longer can use Chat GPT unless I want to pay. That's not something I'm interested in paying for. So that is what I'm going to tell you about that. For Etsy shop, do you prefer made to order or in stock items? It truly just depends. I have a mix of both, and honestly, my made to order items probably bring in the most income in my small business. And it's just as simple as like the mallard snuggler. I offer 2 different colored feet, so you get to pick which colored feet you want. Same way with the buck snuggler, I offer a dark brown, like the caramel colored, or the a light color deer snuggler. So that gives someone else an option of maybe they didn't want the dark brown, they wanted more of a realistic one. Thing in your description, you should disclose whether your item is a made to order, so it would take longer, or ready to ship, so they know that it could possibly be shipped within like the next business day if it was available. How do you get the lowest shipping price? I know a lot of people who like Pirate Ship, and with Pirate Ship it's an app, but it lets you plug in the weight of your item and then lets you see the cost of different businesses and what their shipping price would be for that item. And so you would be able to see through Pirate Ship, you would be able to see the cost of what it would be to ship with USPS, UPS, Priority Mail or Ground Advantage through USPS. FedEx is also on there. And it just is it's a nice app for you to see overall what other businesses would charge you for the same weight, how many days it would take to get to them, and the cost. A few more skeins of yarn to put away, and then we'll move on. So yeah, here's the basket. Doing the crochet dinosaurs was really fun, because then I got to do, for the made to order listing, I did a variety of body colors you could pick from, and then I selected 3 different rainbow spikes that were just a tad different from each other for people to pick from and make their own rainbow dinosaur snuggler. So I think that'd be really fun. I don't think I told you guys that I went swimming. Sorry, so ignore my crazy hair and stuff and no makeup. I took the boys to the pool and I got sunburnt, and I was like, I'm gonna finish this video, I'm gonna organize, I'm not gonna worry about what I look like. So this goes down with the oranges. It's probably not like the best, but I don't want to wind the whole thing up when most of it is still there. It will be okay. Terracotta can go here. Grays go up there. Here's some more blues. And this needs to be wound. Okay. Next question. Someone said, oh, actually, before I move on to this question, let me put this away. Then let me show you some new organization things that I got to help me be organized with this little drawer thing up here. So a couple of new things that came in were I got these mini organization drawers. There came 2 in a package. So they just have like these little tiny drawers, and I thought these would be perfect for the little things in my small business, like the different size safety eyes that I use, the little leather tags and the lovey tags that I use in my small business. I also use hair ties and the little pins for my tags. So a lot of little small things that can go in these bins I thought would be perfect, and they're honestly really tiny. So this would be perfect to just put in a small area spot but still have things organized. I got a giant calculator. This thing is massive, honestly, guys, and I love it. Like, look how big the buttons are. Let me show you. They're just, it's so big. I needed a calculator to use when I am weighing my yarn and subtracting the difference. Sometimes I have my document pulled up on my phone, and so by using this calculator, I don't have to exit out of the document and get into my actual phone calculator to do all the math and stuff. Because sometimes the numbers get fairly large with how many skeins I've used. So I bought a calculator to help me with that. I also purchased a like little ceramic glass pink cup. It has a little gold lining in it. I wanted this to hold my random hooks, my extra hooks that I'm not currently using or are not currently in my bag of recent hooks to use. I have this drawer here that's like filled with hooks and other miscellaneous things. So I wanted this to put hooks and stuff in. And then this was the little organizer shelf. I'm hoping to get the packaging stuff on here along with maybe some other things. So we'll see if this works out. If not, I can use this for other things like paper items, small business items within paper. It could hold receipts until I'm ready to put them in the folder, things like that. So we'll see if this makes do and actually works the way I'm hoping it will work or not. But now we're gonna go through these bins. I have 3 of these baskets that are like filled to the brim of miscellaneous things, hair ties, receipts. Anyway, I have these 3 bins that are overflowing with things that we need to organize. I think this will be my last thing that I need to organize before my space is cleaned up. I finished the 3-tiered shelf. The yarn is organized. We do need to finish winding. And then we have whips and stuff up there. So, and then the sewing bin, but that honestly may have to stay until I get started with sewing. I think I'm gonna leave the worsted weight yarn alone and just let it be for right now. This was already organized. These, let me show you. These bins right here were already organized. And so, yeah, we're just gonna work on this shelf here and then probably call it good, honestly. I will link everything for you in the description below so that you can check out some of these things and see if you would like to use them in your organization. But let's go ahead and sort. While I'm sorting and organizing, we will answer the last few questions. I have these little eyes that I don't even know what to do with, guys, because I don't use these. Before, I used to use these sparkle little eyes all the time. Well, I may put them aside and see if anyone in my maker groups are interested in that. Another question said, how you tailored your crochet skills to get to the point where you felt confident enough to sell. I think when you're just getting started, just crochet. I know that's very vague, but just practice your crochet skills with making things for your family and your friends. The more you practice and work on your crochet skills, the more confident you automatically become, because you're really proud of either trying a new skill, and whether it's color change or fastening off or the magic ring, getting your tension just right for you where you don't see any gaps. All of those play into a huge part in how confident you are as a crocheter. So the more that you sit down and pick up your hook and practice a magic ring and getting your magic ring to stay tight, and like kind of weaving in that tail so it doesn't come loose, and then practicing your tension, all of those things will make you become confident on your own. I know that whenever I first started selling crochet, it was not good. I mean, like, it was good, but I think everyone starts in a place where you're learning the hobby and how to do different techniques and different stitches, and being able to hold your hook with the tension just right, where there's no gaps or anything. For the longest time, I could not do amigurumi. I always had holes. It wasn't until I picked up blanket yarn that I really liked amigurumi, because the yarn was so thick that you can't see the holes really if you keep your stitches tight enough. Whereas worsted weight yarn, I struggled a lot with the hole gapping, because I didn't know that maybe you should double up on your thread. I will say that as I was reading different patterns and pattern testing, that is what helps me become a better crocheter. Seeing those new techniques for like a clean color change, that changed how confident I felt with color changes. Trying the clean bobble stitch that was recently new in patterns, that changed how confident I was in my crochet make. So just practicing those skills, trying new patterns that incorporate new skills, will make you become confident. So keep practicing, keep crocheting, don't give up. You will become confident the more that you keep crocheting, and just sell. Crochet what you want to crochet and offer it to the community, and you will become so confident just with people reacting to your crochet makes and shopping with you. That will be your biggest boost of confidence, is just seeing everyone's reaction and seeing everyone's love towards the items that you made. No matter what age you're at, no matter where you're at in your stage of crocheting, just selling to people will automatically boost your confidence, I promise. So give it a try, and I would love to know how it works out for you and what your thoughts were in the end. And you can always reach out and ask me any questions that you have. I can always send you videos of what I've done, or things that I thought may have been helpful. I love helping you guys learn your crochet, because we were all there at one point in our lives, just starting out, unfamiliar and unsure of how to do something. So don't be afraid to reach out to me. I will always be one of your biggest cheerleaders, cheering you on, helping you with your craft, and helping you create something that you absolutely love and are proud of. So I got a question that says help with taxes. I am not a tax person. So I can't give you a ton of advice, and each state will probably vary based on what you should collect or what they're looking for. I recently took my things to a tax consultant to help me with my taxes. I've linked before one of the documents that I've used from Paper or Spark and Paper Studio. I've been using that to document my materials with the yarn and my inventory with the yarn and other supplies, and then also with my finished make inventory. I plug all of that in there too. She has several YouTube videos for you to look at, so you can see exactly how it works before you purchase it. So you can see if that is something that would fit you in your small business. But that's definitely one item that I use in my small business. The other one that I use for bookkeeping is Camryn's Cute Creations. I can't remember what it's called. I'll link it down below. But it's a bookkeeping that bookkeeps everything. So you have to track in all your income that's coming into your small business and everything that you are spending, and also breaking it up into categories of what you're spending. So you can look up online for your state of what your state is looking for when breaking up for taxes, such as they'll break up materials that you used in your small business, office supplies, which is like all paper goods in your small business, advertising and marketing, software subscriptions. All of those need to be broken down into different compartment categories so that at the end of the year you can see exactly how much you spent on advertising and marketing and materials and travel expenses and food and entertainment. All of those things, you can see it at the end of the year overall what you spent, and it's also broken down by each month. And that's why I like Camryn's document that she has. And then it has a place for tracking your mileage and stuff to use that in your taxes. And it has sales tax. Now the sales tax option I don't personally enjoy because it's never accurate for me, because it only allows you to put in one sales tax number, and I have a variety of sales tax percentages that I use because I sell at a variety of different places with different sales tax rates, and so that is always wrong on my final sheet of how much sales tax I owe. And so I just keep track of that myself in a notebook, but also it shows it on my square, how much sales tax I need to pay for all the markets that I've been at with each event. If I sold something on Etsy, well, Etsy remits my sales tax, but it will still show that I need to pay sales tax in that document. And so I can't turn that off. And so it'll say that I need to pay the sales tax for that, but really the Etsy buyer already paid sales tax for that, and Etsy remitted it for me, so I don't actually have to pay that sales tax. So there's several things with the sales tax part that's not my favorite. I know other people use other kinds of documents for their small business. These are just the ones that I have been using in my business and have found helpful. So again, you should be tracking your inventory, both your cost of goods inventory, like materials and things, and then your actual crochet make inventory. So you'll have two different types of inventory that you should be collecting on. And then you need to be tracking all of your income that's coming into your business and everything that you are spending, and breaking apart what you're spending into different categories. So I hope that is helpful for tax purposes. The last question asks, what's your favorite pattern in each category, such as a blanket, snuggler, stuffy, etc. My favorite blanket pattern that I've crocheted will probably be the Marion Blankets from Amy Loops. That is such a sweet blanket. It is so fun. It comes in two different sizes, the baby blanket and then a lovey size. It's really, really sweet, and the different textures are so fun. So if you haven't crocheted that blanket before, definitely check it out. It might be one that is, it might be one that you might love to try. My favorite snuggler, this was really hard because I have at least 3 different pattern designers that I love with their snugglers. Well, actually really 4. I have about 4 different designers that I really love with these snugglers. Mama Made Minis is a favorite. My favorite snuggler pattern from Mama Made Minis will probably be the lamb snuggler. It is always so sweet. She's always been one of my favorites. I really enjoy crocheting her. So the lamb from Mama Made Minis. Shop Mod Threads. My favorite pattern from her will probably be Della and Baby Della. I love their headbands and everything. They're just so sweet. They're definitely a favorite. My favorite from BK Crochet would probably be Darby and Delilah, the Buck Snuggler. That's such a fun and unique make. I really love that one as well. And then Christina at CC Handmade Hugs. My favorite snuggler will probably be Sassy the Cow. She's so sweet. Most of her snugglers or her plushies can be turned into like little lovey snugglers as well. But my actual like snuggler from her will probably be Sassy. She's really, really cute. Then your favorite stuffy. My favorite stuffy is from Christina at CC Handmade Hugs. It is Elliot the Elephant. I love that pattern, guys. It is so sweet. And it's always a bestseller every time I take it to the market. So if you don't have that pattern, grab that one as well. And then mini makes. My two favorite mini makes will probably be the Hatching Chicks. I love those. They are so fun and interactive. And then the Farm Cuddle Critters, or really even any of the Cuddle Critters from Mama Makes Yarn. She has the Woodland Cuddle Critters and the Farm Cuddle Critters. They also sell really well for me at markets, and they're so, so sweet. So I think those will be those are my favorites patterns for the categories. There's just so many cool patterns out there. Also, I really love Chantel's Elephant. It's Easton the Elephant. She is the maker at Loops to Lovies. It is so, so sweet as well. She's also a very unique pattern designer. I don't know. And then there's Raven Jade Co. Like, come on. There's so many good ones. I love them all. If we do like a mini snuggler, the baby snugglers, will probably have to be Biddy Cookie the cow from Crystal at Raven Jade Co. It's really, really sweet. So I think I grabbed all my favorite pattern designers in there. That is, I think, all the questions. You guys had so many good questions to ask. I think a lot of this vlog is answering your guys' questions while I am trying to organize. Well, obviously we are trying to organize, but I think I sat down mostly to answer your guys' questions, and you guys had some really, really good ones. Some of them I had to really think on. So I hope I was able to answer your questions and give you some good feedback on what you can do for your small business and give you a little bit more insight on how I run my business. If you have any other questions, you can always comment down them below. I will try to respond back to you guys with an answer, or I can always do another video if you are wanting something more in depth of a response. We could do that as well. But let me show you what my yarn looks like. My battery died, and so I've had some time. I did wind all of the yarn, so I need to put it back. I think everything is organized how I would like it to. I finished the organization while my phone was charging, so let me give you guys a little sneak peek. Okay, overall, here is what the space looks like. Okay, starting over here, I did clear it off. I put my hooks here in the calculator And then these are just extra headbands that either someone needed a different color than what I made. So I stuck them here because they're still good. I can use them for another make. This little caddy holds, these are the little dots, scissors, technology, extra bags, business paperwork, thank you cards, and then my care card instruction. This is like their discount code and stuff, and then don't forget notepad. Then on this shelf we just did kind of some odds and ends, so making purses. We have the chain and bases. This is for the poly pellets, and then the little like rings for the purses. Shipping, this has the stickers where I write their addresses on with tape, and then this is just some extra stickers. This is something I haven't used yet, but it's the yarn color card, and then extra scents for tote bags. And then this is the shipping. I ended up not using the tiered rack. I liked how this was better. And then these are extra bags and polymailers. Up here we have the drawers. This is just a whip. This has my knitting machine, and then the little toddler size wooden mannequin. I just stuck it there for now. In the back of this corner has polyfill and whips. This box organizer has palms, Christmas trees, and then this one has items that I don't always use but will use as the seasonal items come. This has rattles, Christmas tree, or like snowflakes for cup cozies. This goes on for ornaments, the cinnamon sticks for pumpkins. So all of that is in there. Then these two have extra velvet yarn. They was just all rolled up nice and neat. This is all of the sewing stuff, so pins. This is the straw lids for the mason jar sets, and then behind here is a yarn winder and extra pins. This is one of the mini organizers. It's not fully full, but this will have the pins that I use for tags, and then this has some of the lobster clips, the D-rings for keychains. I have another ring for the chopsticks that will go here, and then slowly we'll fill this up, but I'm going to leave them empty for now. Then we have the velvet yarn, and then for blanket yarn we have green, pink, purple with fur yarn, and then blue. I tried to keep everything where it was kind of to the side so I could still quickly see what colors I had in here and grab it out. So that's what each one kind of looks like. The blue is probably the most full, and then purple is all on one side with fur yarn on the other. Up here I have my extra yarn winder. All of the Wool Ease Thick and Quick yarn is here for pumpkins, snowmen, and Christmas trees. So we're gonna keep that separated from everything because it's more seasonal and not towards the end of the year that I need that. And then we have each color. So we have those there. And then we have the big twist yarn ribbon and the other little mini organizer. It's going to have 12 millimeter eyes, 14 millimeter eyes, and then 16 millimeter eyes. These are the buttons that I'm going to be using for the Kindle sleeves and book sleeve covers. This will have the leather tags, oops, that I use for my hats. And then I have more. I just need to go get them out of the other container that I have them in. And then this is the little leather tags. If I can get them out with one hand. These are the little leather tags that I use for the snugglers. So 2 different tags, extra darning needles, stitch markers, and then this has an extra thing for my knitting machine, and then an SD card that's there. And then in this 3-drawer organizer, I put just kind of not necessarily random things, but things I don't touch very often. So in this bin, I had little bow centerpieces, butterfly embellishments, bead embellishments, and sequins, and then extra ponytails and the slap bracelets. This one has more things that I'll use most often. So hair ties for faux fur scrunchies, chapsticks for the lip balm, keychains, extra buttons. And I didn't put these with the other ones because I bought them separately. This was from the Joann's Going Out of Business. So since I use an inventory tracker, this button will be in a different spot for my tracking than these. And then back here is extra clips from where you saw them here. I just had a couple more here, so I just made a little bin with them. And then these are just some gel pens. Then in this one, I put a sewing drawer for all the things. So zippers and stuff are down here, scissors, something for the sewing machine, and then a cutter and a seam ripper. This has extra supplies as well. Like this cone was way too big to fit into there, so it's going to hang out here. This is everything for making hair bows. This basket had the tree stumps for the Christmas tree bottoms that I plan on using. And then we have our worsted weight yarn fabric here. This basket will have makes that I've made that need to be tagged. And then my extra yarn. This is what this looks like as well. Is everything with organizing and how the system will kind of work with organization in this little corner space. Again, I share this little space with my laundry room. And so this corner, I feel like is pretty inviting, but also allows me to still work as I need to and grab the materials that I need without digging. It's been really fun to finish this space and add some more shelving and stuff so that I have more room. I really enjoyed cleaning off the top of the dresser so that I have room for more yarn, just extras that I have that are no longer in the closet in my bedroom, which feels really, really nice. But it's been really fun to be a part of this group challenge to reset for summer. I've been enjoying it and organizing. All of the girls have so many good tips, and it's been really nice to just keep each other accountable in this group. I'll link everything for you below down in the description in case you want to check anything out, along with the patterns that I suggested that were my all-time favorites. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in next week's vlog. Bye, guys.